Welcome to the John DeVito Show. This will be a special edition today, talking about nobody is perfect. We all try for perfection. We put too much pressure on ourselves to be perfect. But today I want to have a short message about there is no such thing as perfect and nobody is perfect. Take the pressure off yourself. We'll get going in a minute. Good morning and welcome to a special edition of the John DeVito Show. Now, this is a true podcast. I'm not doing this one live in the live studio of Podbean. This one's just me and you. So we're going to be chilling out today for a short podcast. I'm thinking maybe 20 minutes, 25 minutes tops. I want to make this a reasonable time so everybody can listen and kind of, think about what I'm saying a little bit. I had a show a couple of weeks ago and I had someone come into the live chat. And they were talking about how I made them feel better about their parenting because I would come in and talk about the fact that I am certainly not a perfect parent. And I would talk about, the things I do well, but also equally talk about the mistakes that I've made as a parent. And it made me think a little bit about the obsession we have in this society about everybody feeling like they have to be perfect. They have to achieve perfection. There's a lot of pressure, on men. You have to go out, you have to earn a lot of money, you have to support your family, you have to be a great father, you have to take care of your children, you have to be at all their baseball games, all their sporting events, their band events, whatever they're in. Same thing for women. Women have a lot of pressure. I mean, if you go back a little bit in time, women were staying home for the most part, taking care of the family. And finally, women are at a point in this society where they're out now being valued as part of the workplace as they should be. But I've talked to a lot of women who talk about they feel like they just can't do everything well. You're expected to be an amazing mother. You're supposed to be a high-powered career person. If you don't have time to work 60 hours a week and make food for the bake sale, then you're not doing your job. And there's a ton of pressure on men and women and basically everybody. There's pressure on children these days. I mean, if you look at, when I was a kid, there was a lot of free range time as a kid where you were out just playing with your friends, riding your bikes around, just being kids. Today, man, the kids are being put in travel sports when they're little. They're playing football from kindergarten on up. Every parent is hoping that their kid will be the one that gets the Division I scholarship and plays in the professional baseball league or, NFL or NBA or whatever. And, our society has become a society of people that are obsessed with achievement and obsessed with perfection. And, achievement isn't a bad thing. It's good in your life to have goals. It's good in your life to have dreams. If you want to be, a movie star, if you want to be a baseball player, if you want to be a teacher, if you want to be a doctor, a lawyer, whatever, a firefighter. You should go after your dreams with everything you have. But you have to realize that along the way in your life, when you're a child, when you're an adult, if you're a new employee, if you're in college, if you're a new parent, you are going to make mistakes. We are all human. We all make mistakes. Nobody is perfect. You can't be that perfect mother that works 80 hours a week, that attends all of their children's events, that's a superstar at work, that is president of the PTO, that does everything. Because if you do all of this, you are literally setting yourself up to have like a nervous breakdown at a certain point in your life. You just can't do it. Same thing for men, same thing for children. I think we need to learn as a society, or relearn, that honestly, there is really no such thing as perfection. And you can be very, very good at what you do. I always like to use sports analogies because I'm a big sports guy. You think of someone like Tom Brady. Tom Brady is an amazing football player, the best quarterback that's ever played the game, right? But he's lost a lot of football games during his career. He's lost 3 Super Bowls. So Tom Brady is not perfect. I mean, in football, he's probably as close as you can get to being perfect, but he's not perfect. Nobody is perfect. Everybody makes mistakes. Everyone makes bad decisions. Everyone does things that they eventually end up regretting in their life. And it's just part of being human. It's part of being, part of the human race where we all make mistakes along the way. Now, the one thing that I think is very important for the people who make mistakes, who are basically all of us, is you have to learn from your mistakes. If you go out and you make a mistake and it was a poor decision, maybe you lost a job because of it. Maybe, I don't know, you yelled at your kid and your child is angry with you. I mean, everyone makes mistakes, but if you make a mistake, you learn from the mistake and you try not to repeat the mistake over and over and over again during the course of your life. And I think that's, a very important thing to remember is that we all blow it. We all do stupid things. We all make mistakes, but just try to learn from the mistakes. And I think about the story of Thomas Edison. I think this is a great story. Now, Thomas Edison, as you know, invented the light bulb, and it took him many, many years to perfect the technique of developing a light bulb. And I can't remember how many times he failed, but it was a huge number, something like 40, 50, maybe even 100 times. I don't remember the exact number, but he failed and failed and failed. And someone asked him the question one time and said, how does it feel to have failed that many times in trying to create this light bulb? And his response was phenomenal. He's like, well, I don't view it as that I failed. I just found 50 different ways not to make a light bulb. So I thought that was such a great answer. And it's so true. I think that's how we all have to view our lives, where you're going to come into your life, no matter who you are, you're going to make mistakes. And again, if you're a parent and today, you had a bad day at work, your boss was riding you, things just didn't go your way, and you come home from work and you just want to relax, you want to forget the day, your kids are running around the house, yelling and screaming, and someone breaks a window or whatever. I mean, it happens. These things happen, and you end up, yelling at your kids. You're going to feel bad about it afterwards. Maybe you won't all the time, but sometimes you might. But if you do something like that, you end up yelling at your kids because you're frustrated or whatever. Everybody does it. Everybody does it. There is no such thing as a perfect parent. And I am, a prime example of that. I mean, again, I've got 4 kids, as I've talked to many of you about who come into my live shows. I've got my kids now older. My oldest is 18. I have a 15-year-old, a 14-year-old, and the youngest who is almost 12. If I could count up all the mistakes I've made over the course of my parenting career, I mean, oh my God, I could fill a room with all the mistakes I've made over the years. But I think that in general, I try to be a good dad. I try to be, there for my children. I try to do what I feel is right for them. And, the way I look at parenting is, I love my kids, but I'm not always going to be their best friend. You can't be your child's best friend all the time if you want to raise a responsible adult who is going to go out and be productive in society. And when I say productive, that doesn't have to be, your child becoming a multimillionaire. I'm just talking about a happy, productive citizen who can function and add something to this world. So, am I always right in the things I do? No. Sometimes I miss the mark and sometimes I make bad decisions. But, those are the things that people don't see in society. Like if you listen to my podcast and I talk about, my son, Matt, has been in movies, and, my daughter, Caitlin, gets straight A's, and my son, Ethan's a great baseball player, and my youngest son, Brandon, also is very good in sports. I mean, you hear all the positives, but you don't hear about the negatives. You don't hear about the bad days at home where I just fail as a parent. And I do fail. I make mistakes, and I've made some big mistakes. My wife has as well. We would both admit that we are far from perfect. But in this society today, when you have platforms like, podcasts like this, or if you're on Facebook, like a lot of the older people are, you see all the positive moments in someone's life. Like if you look through your Facebook feed, little Johnny made the travel baseball team. Little Margaret, she got straight A's and made the high honor roll. I mean, you hear about all the positive wins in people's lives. And as you sit here and you scroll through Facebook, you scroll through Instagram, you see that, someone in your town had a big party. Why weren't we invited? All these other people got invited. We hang out with them. Why weren't we invited to the party? These things get under your skin and they bother you and they make you feel like maybe you're an inferior parent, you have inferior children, maybe, for whatever reason, people in the community don't like you, whatever. There's so many different things you can think about. But the bottom line is all of these people that are posting positive stories on Facebook, they're basically picking out, the good moments. They are handpicking the good moments of their lives. They're picking out the successes of their children, and they are, picking out happy moments of their life to share. Now, keep in mind, I see nothing wrong with that. I mean, again, if you're a parent and you're posting like every negative thing that happens to your kid or your family, I mean, no one's going to want to read those moments either. I mean, everyone deals with this. Everyone has bad things that happen. Everyone has challenges. Everyone has bad days as a parent, as a husband or a wife, as a spouse, as an employee, as an employer. Everyone has bad days. Everyone has days when they are not perfect, but you tend not to see those days. So you're well aware of your own imperfect moments, but you're not aware of everybody else's imperfect moments. So, that show I did again a couple of weeks ago, it really made me think about how people feel like they have to be perfect today. And I think there's a lot of pressure. A lot of it comes down to social media. I think about all the teenagers out there. I have an Instagram account. I dumped Facebook because I can't stand Facebook, but I have an Instagram account. I recently got a TikTok account. And I actually enjoy TikTok quite a bit. But if you look at the pressure that young people face today, I mean, especially like young teenage girls, I mean, they're expected to look perfect. They have to have 3,000 followers. They have to, make certain TikTok videos when they're dancing, when they're doing this. And it's all about the followers and the approval and the attention that these social media platforms give them. And it's amazing today how being popular in school for young people is like a whole different dynamic. I mean, back when I was a kid, it was, the athletes were most likely popular. You had the popular groups, in different aspects of the school and things like that. But today, it's not always even like the athletes are popular anymore. It's, how many TikTok followers do you have? How many Instagram followers do you have? And unfortunately, I think that creates a scenario where teenagers are constantly having to, look perfect, be perfect, act perfect. And if they have all those things, then maybe they'll go viral on TikTok or whatever. So it's a whole different world when it comes to those type of things. And you see adults kind of getting into that too. I mean, that's, I think, the whole Facebook phenomenon. I think, people feel when they see that other families have success, with their kids, with whatever, then you kind of feel like you have to do the same thing. You have to get on and show, this is what my kids do. This is what we do. And it becomes almost like a competition. And I think it's a very unhealthy competition. I think that, the whole premise of, keeping up with the Joneses, using an old term, is a very difficult thing because if you're always looking to keep up with your neighbor, if you're always looking to keep up with the guy across the street or the guy that lives across town, then you're always in constant competition to be perfect, to outdo people. And it puts you in a very negative place, I think, mentally. I think the only thing you can do in your life is, the whole perfection thing, throw it out the window. Nobody's perfect. You're never going to be perfect. I'm never going to be perfect. So forget about being perfect. Perfection is an illusion. It's something that you can never attain. And if you pursue it constantly, you're going to be constantly disappointing yourself. Now, I would say instead of pursuing perfection, just try to be the best possible you. I mean, I think that's all we can do as people is we're all flawed. We're all going to make mistakes, and that's okay. But just try to be the best version of yourself. Try to get better every day. Sit down and think about the things you're good at. Think about the things maybe you're not so good at, and kind of work on that list of things that you're not so good at. If you're not good with people, try to maybe, smile at someone or do something kind for somebody. If you happen to brag too much about things, just try to keep some of the things that I guess you've been successful with to yourself a little bit, as opposed to, going out and bragging to people and things like that. So there are so many things that you can work on. But I think it's important for you to know that perfection is an illusion. Perfection does not exist. Perfection is something you will never achieve. So if you are constantly pursuing it, like I said, you're going to constantly let yourself down. You're going to constantly feel like you're failing, and you're going to spiral into a negative mindset. So I think it's so important for us all in this life is, I mean, the old adage, are you a glass half full or a glass half empty type of person? And I think it's so important in this life to try to be a glass half full type of person. You have to be optimistic. You have to believe that, okay, last week was rough. Today's going to turn things around. I'm going to have a great day. I'm going to go out. I'm going to be positive. Good things are going to happen to me. I'm going to make good things happen. And I think if you have an optimistic mindset, then you're going to be a happy person and good things are going to come to you and people are going to want to be around you. If you have a negative, pessimistic mindset where no matter what happens, I'm not going to win, I can't do it. I don't know what it is. Other people are talented. Other people are smarter than I am. Other people are more successful. I just wasn't born that way. If I didn't have bad luck, I've had no luck at all. I've heard that term so many times. I hate that when people say that. Boy, if I didn't have bad luck, I'd have no luck at all. That's not true. I mean, you make your own luck in this life. And if you're positive, you're optimistic, you work hard, you have a plan, you have a goal, then a lot of times you're going to see some of your dreams coming true. If you just sit back and wish and hope and do all those type of things, then you're going to fall into that category where you're just hoping for things to happen and you don't have a real plan, and then you're going to feel like you don't have any luck. So, life's a funny thing, but I think being optimistic is so important. Get up every day, even if you don't feel like going to work, it's Monday morning, you had a good weekend, and oh, I got to go to work. It's Monday. I don't want to go. I mean, right away, you're setting yourself up for failure on that day. You got to wake up in the morning and just think, all right, it's Monday. Let's go get it. It's going to be a great day. If you have things that are weighing in your mind that you really don't want to do, get those out of the way first thing in the morning. Salvage the rest of your day after you get those few negative things out of the way. And just be positive and believe that it's going to be a good day. Help out your coworkers instead of, participating in office gossip. Be positive. Talk about positive things. Ask your boss if there's something you can do to help him or her. Go out of your way to be an active employee. If you're a parent and your kids are having a rough day, they had a rough day at school, pick them up and maybe take a break from sports and, bring them out someplace and have some fun. Go outside and play with your kids. Put down the phone, stop scrolling Facebook, stop worrying about what Jane from across town is doing with her kids. They've won their third straight soccer championship. Put that down, go outside with your kids, have a snowball fight, go for a walk on a nice day, have some private time with your children, maybe your spouse, whatever. Right now we're so living through social media and we're so following other people's lives. I think it's making us feel that we're unworthy, we're not measuring up. And I think it's all part of pursuing that perfection. And right now it's a perceived perfection that we see on social media. So, I just wanted to do a quick show. We're at 18 minutes right now. I wanted to keep it between 20 and 25 minutes so everyone would have time to download and listen to the show, because I'm not doing this live. But just remember, no matter where you are, no matter what you feel like, I mean, some of us are right now caught in difficult times. We've had COVID, for a year. People have lost their jobs. They've lost their businesses. Children are depressed because they haven't been in school. Just remember, the light at the end of the tunnel is here. We're almost past it. Things will get better. You're going to find a new job. Your kids are going to be back in school. Life will resume as it once was. Things are going to get better. They aren't always going to be difficult. But just remember, sometimes take it easy on yourself. Take it easy on yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself. If you made a mistake in a job, you made a mistake with your kids, you made a mistake in your relationship, apologize. Go back and apologize. Say, I was having a bad day. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have talked to you that way. I shouldn't have judged you. I shouldn't have done this. And remember, you can also forgive yourself. You can apologize, for yourself and forgive yourself if you've done things that haven't measured up. So just remember, perfection is an illusion. It doesn't exist. Nobody is perfect. You do not have to be a perfect child. You do not have to be the perfect teenager. You do not have to be perfect parents. You don't have to be a perfect employee. You do not have to be perfect. Just get up every day, be optimistic, attack the day, do your best. And in the end, I think if you have that type of attitude, you're going to have more better days than tough days. I mean, let's face it, life comes after all of us sometimes, right? And life will kick your backside if you let it. It'll beat you down, it'll keep you down, and it'll make you hurt, at some point. But I think if you're the type of person that no matter what is happening to you in your life, you have to remain optimistic, you have to be positive, you have to be gritty, and you have to fight back. So if right now, if life's against you and you're getting beaten down and things aren't going your way, just remember, keep calling out, keep thinking to yourself, I'm going to keep doing the right thing. I'm going to keep being optimistic, and I will overcome this. I will get past this. Things will get better, and I will succeed. Do not let life, do not let other people, do not let social media beat you down to the point where you feel like you just can't do it, because you can. You can. You have the power within you, and it has to come from within. I love the biblical term, salvation lies within. It is so true. The salvation of life, the salvation of you, it lies within you. We all have the power to improve our life. We all have the power to improve ourselves. Again, not to the point where we're perfect, because perfect is an illusion, but you can be better. You can be better, and it has to start from inside you. Love yourself first. Be happy with yourself. Not everybody can be Tom Brady. Not everybody can be Giselle. Not everybody can be a famous movie star, and that's okay. You don't have to be. But just love yourself. Love yourself for who you are. You're a unique person. All of us are. You are made by God for a reason. Believe that, and just be happy with the person you see in the mirror every day. I've talked about over the years, I've had some difficult relationships with my father, but the one thing he used to say to me all the time, and it still sticks with me today, is he would say, remember, when you're shaving in the morning and you're looking in that mirror, you have to be happy with the person who's looking back at you. Because if you're not, then you're going to be unhappy. And it's so true. You've got to be proud and happy of who you are. And I think the first thing you need to do is forget about the perfection. It doesn't exist. However, just go out, be happy, be optimistic, and just try to be the best version of yourself. That's all we can do. That's all we can try to do. We're hurtling through space on this piece of rock. God knows why we're all here. We don't know. But just try to make the best of your time on this planet. And I think if you do that, then, you're going to be happier. You're going to find that you're going to be more fulfilled, and you're going to be living in a very positive way. So that's pretty much it. This is pretty brief, 22 minutes and 40 seconds. That's how I wanted to keep it. And for the people who are feeling stressed, and for the people who are feeling like they have to be perfect, here's a podcast right here telling you that is not true. You do not have to be. Just relax, be your best self, and enjoy your life. All right. Take care, everybody. Love you now.